Hiya, welcome to my Compound Life. I'm your host, Jonathan. Good to see you. It's the Sunday morning, 7th of December, around 10:30 or 10:50 a.m. Very, very cold in the UK, in the West Midlands. So I hope you guys are still in bed, wrap up warm, in the house, just stay warm. It's good to see you. Thanks for watching my Compound Life. This is a channel where we build assets, where we build great habits to manage all of our assets. Most importantly, we build freedom. Ultimately, this will be financial freedom so that all of us will have time and abundance of money so that we'll be worried free moving forward. Anyway, this is a daily Bitcoin update. So let's quickly look through the price of Bitcoin right now. It's about 89,300 US dollars. So it has been doing that for the past day or so. That's the whole situation. Yeah, it has been retracing as such. So it dropped through to the low hasn't dropped too low. In the past 24 hours, the low was around 88,900. So not too low, but I guess we're retracing. So in a way, I do hope that we'll get back to about the 94K-ish, right? So the whole important thing is for it to get past 94, so it gives us a sense that it will continue to move up, going above 94,000. At any point of time, I think if we cannot hold 88, it does seem that we might be moving lower quite soon. The whole market, it's in its extreme fear at around 20. So we have dropped to extreme fear from, I think, 2 days ago, when we were at about 26, 28, when we were at the fear situation. But now we have definitely fallen onto extreme fear, 20. Yesterday we were also in extreme fear around 23. So it does give us some hint of the situation of the market. But I guess it's also worthwhile to bring in, it does seem the institution demand for Bitcoin is now at its lowest level in the past 8 months. Seems that the debts have stopped buying. The ETF inflows, I think we've been looking through that for the past couple of days, have gone down tremendously for Bitcoin. And to be honest, without any strong demand for buying of Bitcoin, every Bitcoin upward move simply just feels like it's kind of like a bull trap, right? Every slight upwards improvement, as soon as we get onto the 94K, it seems there'll be some sort of sell-off, right? So not exactly positive. I think I've warned you guys before, we are going through this bearish situation, right? Although there are some tailwinds, it's not going to immediately bring us out of the bearish situation. Okay, so unless in a very short period of time we can reclaim back 94,000 for Bitcoin, and then continue to move upwards to reclaim the 50 days moving average, which should be around 102,000 USD. Then for the time being, it does seem we will continue to progress into a bear market. Okay, there isn't much update for Bitcoin today, but I think what's worthwhile for me to chat about is it does seem the US M2 money supply somehow hit another all-time high. And usually the expectation will be Bitcoin will follow after, right? So M2 hits all-time high, followed by Bitcoin price retrace and follow the M2 trends a little bit, right? So I think I'm gonna show you some chart in the video. I'll add that in when I'm editing the video. So this specific chart is kind of hinting or showing us the biggest signals for Bitcoin and crypto right now, right? It's giving us some hope, right? So not a Sunday doom and gloom daily Bitcoin update video, but at the same time, I just want to, give us some hope, right? In the video too. So of course, US M2 money supply, it's slowly climbing back up to approximately $22.3 trillion. And the pace of expansion is now the fastest since mid of 2022, right? I want to say this is kind of like a clear signal that liquidity in the US financial system are turning up again, right? But at the same time, I cannot promise that, with M2 money supply going up, US, essentially it means Bitcoin price will go up too, right? Because knowing that when M2 accelerate, right, it usually would lead on to a risk asset rally. Okay, so mind you, I'm calling out risk asset, and it doesn't mean Bitcoin. Okay, so it does seem the whole US situation where the government are very pro AI. There has been incentive, investment, etc., that are actually put towards AI company, right? So in that case, the risk asset will probably AI related. US companies will probably rally at a fastest pace. That seems. I mean, I would speculate that, right? So that would be more of the investment's priority right now. If I want to invest, if I want to, knowing that liquidity are flowing back into the system, if I want to invest, where would I put my money? It does seem US AI stocks, the Mag 7 will definitely have higher mind share, right? So if that's the case, if that's the case, I think do have the expectation that, maybe for this specific M2 liquidity business cycle, ISM cycle, whatever you guys want to call it, it does seem more mindshare will be on AI stocks as opposed to Bitcoin, right? But I'm not saying that Bitcoin will not go up, the price will not go up, but the level of investment, the level of liquidity that pours into Bitcoin, I think will be much restricted versus AI stocks, right? So this is why sometimes, I always talk about, I think in the past few videos, we spoke about if you do have received good gains from a Bitcoin, and knowing that we have finished the 4-year cycle, and you know what, it probably makes sense to take some profit off and pivot into AI, or pivot or buy back the low on Bitcoin when we get onto the bear market, just before we kind of move on onto the business cycle, right? So that's something to always bear in mind too. So right now, M2 is, of course, is accelerating, so that's good. But usually when M2 kind of slows, Bitcoin and crypto kind of bleeds, right? So yeah, I think that's something to look forward to. But what exactly is driving the liquidity wave right now? I think the Fed is expected to keep cutting rates. I think give it another 5 days, we should be able to see whether we have 25 or 50 basis point rate cuts. And this will continue for next year, right? Especially when quantitative tightening has been stopped, right? And of course, knowing that lower rates reduce borrowing costs, and that will push capital into higher beta assets like bitcoins and altcoins, and I think a majority of liquidity might flow back into AI stocks. That's how I would see it. And that's not all. I think UBS expect the Fed to start buying approximately 40 billion per month of T-bills in early 2026, right? So basically, we are seeing very early stage of QE, right? So I think US Fed has recently did some QE, I think 13 billion. And then immediately we saw some movements on Bitcoin, right? So that was some positive movement. In order for us to see greater liquidity that comes in, Fed definitely need to print like 40-50 billion dollars per month, right? A little bit like similar back into the COVID years, where essentially Feds are doing similar. So that's why Bitcoin and a lot of the growth stocks, actually growth assets, all of these assets actually improve in price. Okay, so we are kind of going through early stage of quantitative easing, right? So definitely watch this space. I think we will have more improvement coming up. If the Fed begins T-bill purchases on top of rate cut, the liquidity impact will be massive. Okay, so what does it mean for the dollars? It's a combination of higher M2, lower interest rates, balance sheet style operations will weaken the dollar over next few quarters, right? So we always know that whenever the dollars gets weakened historically, it will be a strong driver towards more people buying Bitcoin because asset would become cheap, right? And then crypto altcoins will have some expansion, and of course, any risk type of assets, right, will rallies. Okay, so this is why the next liquidity cycle is so important, and we just simply need to see continuous quantitative easing for the next few quarters. Then hopefully our Bitcoin relief rally can come. I'm hoping, of course, we'll get more than just relief rally, but another all-time high. But you never know, right? Somehow I still believe truly on the Bitcoin cycle, right? So as a highlight, I think in every major cycle, whenever we see some liquidity expansion, so back in 2016 to 2017, liquidity expansion leads to a bull run for Bitcoin, right? 2020, 2021, liquidity expansion also leads to another bull run, right? So we are now about to get into 2026 liquidity expansion, right? So we have quantitative tightening stopped. We are seeing very minimal quantitative easing, money printing, about 13 billion, right? So that has shown some improvements into the Bitcoin price, right? So we are now hoping, with rate cut coming, right, in a matter of 4 days time, 3 days time, 4 days time, and followed by more quantitative easing, right? It needs to be in the billions, maybe 30, 40, 50 billions per month, right? For multiple quarters. That will definitely ensure the asset price to goes up, right? The US dollars would drop, leading onto, growth assets to accelerate. Okay, yeah, so that's something for us to take into consideration. Of better days might be coming for Bitcoin. And yeah, I hope you all have a great Sunday. So thanks for watching. Please drop a like, hit subscribe. I'm only on my 15 subscribers count, right? So I'll be really thankful if you guys can be my 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 of subscribers. Let me know if you are my 16th to 20th subscribers. Drop that on the comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.